Hi, everyone. This is Gail Minogue, your numerologist, and I want to talk to you today about two really interesting subject matters, and they are Donald Trump and Joseph Biden and their numerology birth blueprints. So you may have not even thought there was any credibility to your blueprint or your date of birth or your name at birth, but there's a great deal of influence on a person's life. So you can tell, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you today about these two characters, Joseph Biden and Donald Trump, and what they came in with, the birthday of each, and what they designed for this life, and how it plays out, and why they behave the way they do. There's a reason for this crazy behavior of Trump and this crazy behavior of Biden. Neither one of them has truly been made or bred to be a leader. They both have certain qualities that would detract from leadership. However, that's what we have. So they're interesting, they're a sign of the times, and we're going to talk today about them. And we're going to talk to you about their date of birth and their blueprints in their name and what they came in with. So I want to I'm going to speak to Joseph Biden, whose name at birth, and I'm going to read a couple of things because there's so much information. I don't want to jam too much in here, but there's so much that you will want to know. It's fascinating, really, when it becomes so accurate. Just like you have your name at birth, your date of birth tells the whole story of your life. But unfortunately, you don't even know you have one, a date and a birthday that you chose. And that is your blueprint for this life. The same as these two characters. They have blueprints, they have characteristics, they have flaws, and they have issues that they don't want you to know about. And that's what I want to talk about today. So first, Joseph Biden, whose name at birth is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. I think the Robinette is an old family name. And he was born November 20th, 1942, which makes him in astrology a Scorpio. And Mr. Biden has been what we'll call a government worker for basically his entire life. And he's still a government worker. And he was always in what we call kind of a bureaucratic situation as a senator. So his world was actually kind of small, not in a leadership role, but in a bureaucratic role. And you see that playing out now. So he came in with a blueprint, a life path, which you have as well from your date of birth, of the life path of the number 11. The same life path number as Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, John McCain, a lot of people who have quite of an inspirational life path by having that number 11. It's also a peacekeeper. It's a person who sees both sides of an issue, and they can get into trouble because they don't want to make decisions because they see both sides of everything. And then you have his destiny, which is his full birth name of the number 4, which is the worker, order, discipline, structure, and the 4 personality, the same thing. These are from his consonants: worker, practical, discipline, blah, blah, blah. They get stuck. So we have a situation where we have a person who sees both sides of an issue and has a hard time choosing. So one of the underlying problems with Joe Biden is his ability to choose or procrastinate or wait or get more information and delay and blah, 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 which is what you see in the decision making that he does. It just takes longer, it's safer, it's practical, all that kind of stuff. But he has determination, and unfortunately, people have underestimated him, because if you have 4 personality and a 4 destiny, which is discipline, hard work, and order, this guy is going to keep going whether you like it or not. So they underestimate him as far as his age. He didn't even see it. He just is going to keep going and keep going and keep going. What's his Achilles heel? What's his weakness? When he was born, he arrived in a family that made you all stuff it. You didn't talk about deep personal stuff. You stuffed it. So you learn to stuff. You don't talk about personal feelings. You don't talk about a lot of things about the family. You don't talk about it. You stuff it. And one of the issues underlying that is you don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about. So this is one of his issues, that he doesn't want to look like he doesn't know what he's talking about. So he comes off sometime as political speak and nothing really, no bully pulpit, no pounding on the table. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to stay in my safe little group. So you see, he sticks with the same policy, even if it's wrong, So this is a problem of Joe Biden's chart. He has a great inspirational opportunity with the number 11, but he doesn't want to look like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't want to look stupid. That's the underlying below the problem with really making his decisions. And he can be very indecisive. Now, in his name, he is missing one number only, and that is the number 3. But believe me, you do not want to have that number missing if you are a politician, because that's the number of communication and verbal creativity, writing, speaking. Many times people with a missing 3 come in with a problem in speaking. And sure enough, so did he. He came in with a stutter. So it's very hard for him to speak in public. He's very reticent to do it. He has to know his materials, have a teleprompter, because he is terrified, number 1, of looking stupid. Number 2, his communicative skills are damaged, okay? And he has to go out of his way to correct them as he's speaking. So he doesn't speak a lot, and he kind of mumbles. And they used to say he sticks his foot in his mouth. This is why. He doesn't have the number 3. He doesn't have that flow, that nice communicative, happy flow of joy and all that. It's just not there. And that's coming in from birth. So in these missing the letters like C and U and L, he has no C, no U, no L in his name. Those are the missing 3 numbers. So this is a problem for him. Now, having said that, deep in his heart too, he has tremendous amount of psychic ability. He's a lot of water. He's a Scorpio, but he's filled with water, and he is not filled with fire. So guess what? He does not get fired up. Like if you want to have the energies of fire and earth and water and air, because each represents a quality. Earth, you want to have earthiness. You want to be able to manifest something. You want to have air for the ideas, like I think I'll create a Tesla today. You want to have fire for the emotions to fire you up, okay? And you want to have water to make sure you feel it. Well, he's missing the fire. So you never see, he always looks tired. He doesn't have that fiery energy to fire himself up. It's just one little place. He has an energy package of the Sagittarius rising, and that's it. Everything else is basically water and a little bit of earth. Water. So he's very sensitive, very psychic, very intuitive. He knows a lot more than he thinks he knows. He's extremely sarcastic. Extremely. I would not want to get him mad. He really could cut you off and pulverize you. But you don't see that. You don't see it. He stays safe and secure and all of that. And he is always mulling over something. So it would take away a lot of leadership qualities you want in a leader, to be more dogmatic, more energetic. Even if he was 55 versus, 80, something like that. He didn't have a whole lot of energy when he was 55 either. It's the same person. So these are the underlying issues of Joe Biden. Will he do better? Yes. In this election? Yes. He has a terrible chart, what we call transits. Letters move all around. They're constantly moving in your name. You don't know that, but they're working on you. So since February of 23 to February of June of 24, he has terrible numbers. So he always looks terrible in the polls. He looks like he's just dying away. No. May is his transition month, May of 2024. He's like the phoenix. He rises from the ashes just like his sun sign, and he will take off and has a very good possibility of winning the election. He's going to start winning states that you don't even think they're in question. He will start winning. Okay, but right now he's still in the doghouse. But as far as his qualities, he's not going to have the fire. He's still going to stumble when he speaks. He's going to sound, mumbling or say the wrong things inappropriate. That's the missing 3. Remember that. But hard worker, disciplined, organized, structured, okay? He is really the peacekeeper. He really does want peace. And I'm very surprised, but you have to know all the underlying things going on with Gaza and Israel and the rest of the countries in there. What's really going on underneath? And you won't know because there's a lot of geopolitics and quiet stuff going on. Why it's being played out the way it is. So in that respect, he is probably weighing a lot underneath. But as far as the rest that really look good out on the politician's trail, he doesn't come off well because of these underlying issues. He doesn't want to look like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he wants to be safe. And he also puts his foot in his mouth. That's all there. But he is smart. That's, we take away from that. Psychic, sensitive. He probably reads the room quite well. And it bothers him about the Gazas who are suffering. Deep down he does, because he has a 9 humanitarian soul number. So I think it really bothers him. What will he do about it? That's another question. Don't count him out for this election. Start reading the polls in June. I've been saying all year, pay no attention to the polls until June of 2024. So it still stands. Okay, so now we want to go to our friend Donald John Trump. He was born June 14, 1946. So he has, his life path is the number 4. And the number 4 is the discipline, the hard work, the order, and the structure. So he is a hard worker. There's no doubt about it. He also, it's a real estate number. So both he and Joe Biden have a prominent number 4. Joe Biden in his personality and his destiny, and Donald Trump in his life path, or the road he's on. So he's on road number 4. So that makes him, very dogged, very determined, all that kind of stuff. He's also an interesting character. He has no missing numbers in his name. Like Joe Biden's missing the 3. None are missing in Trump's name. He has a 7 personality. He has a 7 soul number. So that's the consonants and the vowels. But the sum total is a 5. 7 and 7 is 14, 5. So basically his destiny is to have a lot of freedom. So change, he loves change. Changes. This morning he says something, tonight he has something else. He's born into this air sign of Gemini, which he's the natural mimic. And if you notice, he mimics his opponents. He'll mimic anybody. He doesn't care. He doesn't care whether whatever. If you talk badly about him, he doesn't care. Because he can change. He also, because it's a 7 personality and a 7 soul number, he also is the number of the loner. He's the person of the processor, the intellectual, not in the case of, sprouting off a bunch of Latin or talking about the latest cure, but he likes to know. He wants to know why and how and all of that kind of stuff. And he's a snob, okay? His personality is a snob. His soul number is a snob. This guy is not what you think he is. He's a hard worker, that's for sure. But he needs his alone time. He doesn't want to mingle with the masses at all. So a lot of the stuff he says, especially if he's off mic, you would probably cringe at some of the things he would say. He'll present like he's one of you. He's not. He wants to have his place to go to. Very much judgmental, extremely judgmental with all that 7. 7 is really about the intellect, developing the superconscious, the superconscious mind. And he has the ability to develop that, but whether he'll do that, I don't know. I would never have put him in politics, but I would always put him on the stage or in entertainment and in real estate. And that's where he should have stayed. One of the problems he has, he's running again for the presidency, which is a big mistake because it's going to bring out all these crazy lawsuits that he had. They were all sitting there waiting, okay? They're like little baby birds. If you didn't feed them, they would have died off. but you fed them by coming out in public and starting to say and do things and not caring what you said or did. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, particularly February, March, April into May. He's got a heavy-duty week ahead. He's got a heavy-duty February ahead. And so I would be very surprised if one of these court cases doesn't find him guilty. I would be surprised if it didn't. He's in a phase right now where he really finds that a lot of people who want to help him really are unable to help him because he's in such kind of a dire situation. Anyway, that's temporary. That will pass after, say, May. But it's getting through now, February, March, April, and part of May for him is the difficult period. What he has underneath, before I go there, I want to go here. I want to say more about his personality. Very smart, sort of a snob, okay? Will come out and say and do anything. Remember, he's a natural mimic, so he can cut off his opponents at their knees, say crazy things about them, say I could get shot in the middle of the street or something like that, all that kind of crazy stuff. He says that because of this ability to say stuff and not have a governor on it. There's nobody to stop me, I don't care. However, he has in his, what I call his emotional makeup, he has this wanting to be in the limelight, always wanting to be in the limelight. And that's where he feels comfortable. One of the reasons why he does a comb over and sort of glues his hair is because he has a lot of Leo energy. And Leo is always the showman. Leo runs Hollywood. So he should have stayed or keep staying in the entertainment industry with TV shows or even produce films or what have you. That's his baby. And then investing in real estate. That's his baby. Not this position of running for presidency, but his need. And I'll tell you why he does this. I'll tell you why in just a second. But I want you to get back to his hair, the comb over, and why he has to show you he has all this hair because he has this prominent Leo. And what does Leo the lion always have? It has a big mane, a big hairy mane. So this is Donald Trump. He's got to have the hair showing, the comb over, no matter how ridiculous it looks or how artificial it looks. If you cut it, you'll find out that he's quite bald. But anyway, so this is part of that need to be in the limelight, to look good in the limelight. And it's unfortunate because I really think that from now till I said that period of May, he has some health issues. I don't know if it's physical health or mental health, but he's made some real crazy statements in some of his talks lately. And I'm not sure what that indicates, whether he's exhausted, tired, not feeling well, or he's losing it. But he said some things that are really off the mark. Okay, so now you understand. The place where he needs to be is in the limelight in television, film, and owning real estate. That's his baby. Unfortunately, he said he had to come and run again and brought in all the troubles. So who knows? He may rally after, say, May, but he's got to get through this gauntlet of all this business of these trials. And underneath this, just like Joe Biden has this issue of not wanting to look stupid, Donald Trump has an issue from his parents and particularly his father. When he was born into a family where he was made to feel incompetent, okay? Mainly coming from his father. His mother didn't help, but mainly his father. So when you were born into a situation where you were pretty much undermined or felt to be incompetent, that's how you're treated. Like you don't know what you're talking about, or why didn't you get an A when you got a A minus? You could have gotten an A, how come you didn't get that? So he was really undermined as a child. So he made a decision very early. And when you have this in your chart, two ways a person's going to go. They're going to go, I'll show them. Or they screw up their career and sabotage themselves. My feeling is, just from his behavior all his life, that he's always on I'll show them track. I'm going to show him. I'm going to show my father. I'm going to go past him. I'm going to do better than. It's unconscious, but it plays out in everything he does. So here we are, running for president again, because he feels that he should not have lost. I'll show them I'm not a loser. I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to win. And I'm going to show my father that I am better than he said I was. And this is the underlying pinning of Donald Trump. So I don't know. Some people, when they come in with this, maybe they'll create a learning disability, maybe ADD, maybe he has a touch of that. I don't know, because he was never diagnosed. Wouldn't surprise me. But each one of these guys has these underlying issues that really haunt them and undermine their persona in public. People are not supposed to know they have these underlying issues. They just, supposed to take them at their word, but you can't, because this comes out. Joe's stuttering and his lack of fire when he speaks and all that. And Donald Trump, his I'll show you, I'm better than you, and I'll beat you, and all this kind of stuff. It's nutty. Neither one of these people is what we would designate as leaders, but that's what we have. So before I leave you, I wanted to mention one more thing on Donald Trump. He's born on a 14 day. Why is that significant? He's born June 14. There are only 4 karmic debt numbers. That means the debt has to be paid in this current life, not a future one. So those numbers are 13, 14, 16, and 19. Okay? So when you have 13, 14, 16, and 19, you have to be on guard. You have to pay attention. So the 14 is what he's born on, and that's the day of the physical level debt. Something on the physical level. So you don't ride motorcycles, you don't do drugs, you don't take chances on your physical frame or your physical body. You treat it very, very well. You eat right, you do right, you don't put it at risk, you don't go bungee jumping, you don't do stupid things. Now, he's made it so far at his tender age of pushing 80. I think he's 77? I don't know. But anyway, I think he'll be 78 in June. My feeling is that he's got to be extremely careful. I don't care what it is. Remember, he doesn't drink alcohol. There's something, I know his brother was an alcoholic. He may be afraid for himself to go there. He can't do drugs, okay? All of these kinds of things, it's always indulgence, okay, in the physical level. So how this is going to play out for him, I don't know, but nothing would surprise me of a health challenge for Donald Trump at all on this physical debt. It's got to be paid before he checks out, so I don't know, and maybe he's already paid it, I don't know. So I want to make sure I haven't overlooked anything here that I think you want to know. This period of time for each of these, like what I call is the energy of the time they're living in right now, Donald Trump is living in an environment of the number 8, which is about business and power and money and all that. So he has a lot of tests, contracts, lawsuits. Good God, it's not leaving him. He's in the 8 till he dies. So he's in like room number 8 until he gets out of here. And then Joe Biden, he's in room number 9, which is the humanitarian, international. So he will do more and more on that phase. It's a lot easier to go out under the number 9 than under the number 8. I'm in a number 8, and I deal with business and contracts and, oh God, insurance people and everybody. And I have to pay attention to all the business side of everything when I'd rather be taking a cruise with my retired friends, but I'm not. But that's an 8, and he's got it. You just amplify that, and that's what Donald Trump will have for the rest of his life, whereas Joe will be in the number 9. So he will get involved with more humanitarian processes. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't stick his foot somehow in this Gaza situation. So I hope this gives you a little bit more information on these. One of the things that you need to do for you to help you is to understand what are your issues? How are you going to know what they are? And I can help you with that. It's extremely important you find that out. Otherwise, you're going to keep making the same mistake or wonder why it's not working or there's delay, all that kind of stuff. So you need to probably get in touch with me and get a session for yourself, at least buy the book Divine Design, find out how some of the basic stuff works, Okay, because I get comments from you. You have a billion questions. Well, get the book and answer them for yourself, because it's tedious to sit and just watch me. But even though I love you, anyway, I am happy you tuned in. I thank you. These guys are incredibly two guys that we got stuck with. Now, maybe Nikki Haley will get nominated, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be Trump unless he gets sick. Something happens to him. All things are open right now. This is not November. We're only in February. Long, long way to go. Don't pay attention till June, remember. Thank you again for listening. You can always get in touch with me. You know where, GailMinogue.com. Thank you.